All right, so our group is doing mental health within college athletics. So jump in, we are going to talk about Harry Miller. He's a current student with us here at Ohio State. He's a senior. He's a former Ohio State offensive lineman. He was heavily recruited and did really well with his playing time while he was here. He's a two-time academic All Big Ten, and that's a pretty high standard award to be receiving, especially being two-time. He has a 4.0, and he's in the College of Engineering, which is also at Ohio State, a really reputable college. He here recently retired from football to protect and advocate for mental health. So the problem we will be addressing is within college athletics, there are many stressors that affect even non-athletes and student athletes, and this can affect their GPA and athletic performances. This can also lead to more serious issues like anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and suicidal thoughts. As we will go into detail, even with normal students, it's hard sometimes to have a full-time schedule within school and other stressors that come in with life. There's social things, there's other work. Some students have to work more than others. And putting all those together, especially with the student athletes having to have a full-time job and being in sports is another full-time job, and then being able to fluctuate with everything else that happens in life, there are going to be speed bumps, and it's how they can be treated when these things come up. So the background with mental health within college athletics, the NCAA's best practices, the clinical licensure of practitioners providing mental health care, procedures for identification and referral of student athletes to qualified practitioners, pre-participation mental health screening at the beginning of the seasons, and then health promoting environments that support mental health well-being and resilience. Academics transferring race and gender equities are also stressors among college students and athletes. And then rising suicide rate among student athletes in 22 is on the rise, which is something that is pretty sad to see.
So after doing some research and analysis about this topic, we have found that studies have shown that with the pressures to win on these student athletes, that 30% of them feel extremely overwhelmed. So that is a large number. And 31% of males and 48% of females of these NCAA student athletes reported having depression or anxiety symptoms. So that is about half of the number, which is very concerning. And as the NCAA says that they find this to be an issue and are working on aiding in this, that is a very high number. And obviously more should be done there. So 55% of males and 40% of females felt that their athletic departments prioritize mental health. So that means that the other half don't believe that their athletic departments prioritize mental health, which is also, once again, kind of concerning. And a potential solution would be to encourage continued care. So going to a regular therapist or seeing a psychiatrist regularly, rather than, talking to somebody one time and it's a one and done fixed deal. That's just not how it works with mental health. So encouraging athletes to continue to have healthy habits and seek professional help rather than just trying to find a quick fix. And also for schools to analyze the culture of performance pressure and mental toughness, rather than just physical wellness and physical peak performance. Also, making sure that that physical aspect does not trump the mental aspect as well. And some cautionary notes for schools to take in mind would be that coaches and athletic departments must begin to invest more into their student athletes' mental well-being as they do their physical well-being. So we're not really seeing it super even, and you can't always perform well physically if you're not well mentally. That includes just like a basic aspect to be getting enough sleep. So if you aren't, if you're kind of foggy, even I notice personally, like I don't perform well physically. So schools need to make sure that they're not, as they're hyping up their physical wellness, that they need to step up on their mental wellness game as well. And the college coursework just imposes a lot of stress and a lot of time. So that is just something to take into account, that academic load can't really be lessened in terms of certain requirements. So other resources need to be accounted for as well. And so the question is, how are we able to implement the supportive help needed without being invasive of one's thoughts and feelings, but effective enough to help those who don't speak about their mental health? So not pressuring students who don't feel comfortable. So yeah, not being super invasive about it. Like there is kind of a line, but also wanting students to speak up about how they feel. So that is definitely something that schools should be sensitive about and continue with caution.
All right, so a couple steps of recommended action we have would be hiring a sports psychiatrist for each sport, basically to ensure the close interaction, and also creating a mental health task force for the roles of just checking in with students and staff and its coaches as well. So this would be an opportunity that would be open to both students and staff. But within this task force, you will basically be checking on the students and the staff and making sure their wellness is good, anything that they need mentally, or even if they just need an ear to listen to their problems. The next step will be requiring that NCAA ensures their practices that they have posted on their website. So the best practices link that we have included. But just make sure it's being implemented into the sporting program, opposed of just sharing it and not utilizing it. The next thing will be offering waivers for those who strongly refuse not to have that mental health task force assist them. This kind of coincide with making sure how do we implement the mental health task force without being invasive. So this gives people opportunity to actually step out or refuse the service. But it will also reduce the people who aren't really comfortable, but just kind of need that push to be out there. Finally, it will be creating monthly mental health bonding activities for the team and for the staff to allow open connections for everybody. So within these bonding events, you will basically just do fun activities or collaborative activities to basically get to know one another and try to understand one another's mental health and standpoints, seeing that their strengths and weaknesses or even signs that they may show or display when they are going through a hard time and how to go about the situation. And then some final thoughts that we have is mental health is something that all universities need to consider with their students and their athletes. Mental health plays a big role in school. So if you're not well mentally, you wouldn't play well as a student or perform well as an athlete. And then there are also several types of mental health issues that people may have, and have appropriate resources available for the students is very crucial. So this is just double checking and making sure that all universities have the appropriate resources to deal and handle each student's mental health issues or needs. And then finally, we have our sources listed here. And that is all. Thank you.